Welcome back to Learning the Hard Way. We've made it to episode number 65, and this week, well, we've had a lot of questions about what happens after Chelsea Flower Show, what happens to those incredible gardens that we've built, what happens to the site in general. Well, this week we're going to show you some of the clips that I took and some of the vlogging that I did when we were breaking it all down. It was an interesting week. It's pretty tough watching all of that hard work just be broken up. I mean, it's done so in a careful way because it does have to be relocated, but you'll have to stay tuned to see all of that. We're also introducing you sort of up to date some of the Hardwood Landscapes sites. We're going to show you what we're currently building, where we are, what the teams are up to. We're welcoming Sam back, who's had 4 months off work due to sickness, but he's back up and running. We're delighted to have him back on the team. So, without further ado, let's get into it. Good morning. This is the first time I've pulled the DJI out in a long time. We haven't got the camera crew here. We weren't sure if we were going to show this side of it, but I think there's going to be quite a lot of interest in what happens with Chelsea when the show is over. So it's Sunday morning. We got here, say we, my wife and I, she's come to help. It is a Sunday. We've got bank holiday tomorrow. There were a load of volunteers that are meant to be helping Max with the planting that now aren't, so we are pretty stressed about the workload we got in front of us, so she stepped up to help, so thank you very much. But it all still looks amazing. It's going to be pretty sad to rip it all up. Our first machines have just been delivered, have just arrived. Our labour force is about to walk through the gate, I've been assured. But yeah, it's looking fantastic. It's going to be a real shame. So we'll talk through relocation. We'll also talk through how we get this quantity of material up this quickly. The decking system that we've got, one of the biggest selling points is the fact that you can pop the boards up. Now, while that might be the case and easy enough to do for popping one or two up to run a cable or replace some damage, to lift all of this with the little keys that they give you, it just is an absolute non-starter. Anybody who's worked with this material will know what I mean. But what we're probably going to do to overcome that is just rip the boards out. What that means, it will snap the little plastic clips. They're fairly inexpensive to replace, but it means the boards and the frame are all fine and all reusable. I think aims and objectives today are getting plants out of beds and onto trolleys. Then we're going to take the backs off the planters so that the machines can come in with their forks and pick up the trees. All of the decking and framing up and palletised, ready to go. Probably not a huge amount above that, to be honest. We might just do some general smashing, dismantling, get the planters up, so the planters can't be relocated. The material just is fairly single use, you can't take it apart. They will be binned. They are clad also in a clay, so literally in mud. Good to see that the water feature is empty because that was a lot of water to drain, so whoever did that, thank you. Thank you very much. Tomorrow's objectives, if all of this is cleared, is going to be on dismantling, bagging the stone up, ready to get that out as well. So plenty to get on with. It's a nice early start. It's going to be a long day. Catch up with you shortly. I think we're going to stay inside in the warm and dry for this week's Pieces to Camera. The weather outside is pretty disgusting. The gardens that we care for do need this rain, but I don't. We're going to take you over now to see Rob. He's working at our good friend's Berry Hills yard. You met Rob for the first time on our Chelsea Flower Show vlogs, but let's go and see what he gets up to in the real world.
Hi, my name's Rob Moynihan. Just joined Hardwood Landscapes. This is my 4th week now, and I'll be working alongside Sam. So far, Sam and I are getting on with great guns. Unfortunately, he's a Man United fan, and they happened to lose to Tottenham Hotspur last week for the Cup. Sam was very happy when he came back to work.
I'm back. I've been off for about 4 months, and I started again on the 15th. I'm doing a couple of days a week. It's been quite nice. I'm feeling a lot better than I was. I mean, by the end of the days, by Friday, I'm quite knackered. Use my weekends to sleep, but I've watched far too much TV to stay home any longer. So I'm very glad to be back.
I like the way you work it.
Oh. That's it.
Bag it up. Sam showing his age there. He didn't know the next line to.
I kind of had an idea. I was just unsure. You haven't met Rob before? Well, he's my team leader now. My dream team leader, should I say? Yeah. He's very, very nice to work with. Humorous, hardworking. You know. Everything you need from a team leader, I would say.
Today we're at Berry Hill. Topsoil Supplies, our friends over here, supplied us with all our soiling needs, just in the owner's house, doing some planting and maintenance of their rather large border against this beautiful wall. We've been tasked with looking after this border today and planting some new plants. So quick plant ident, see what's good, what's not so good, establish which are the weeds, pull them out, and then plant some more, where are they? Plant some more beautiful salvias from Van Arnhem Nurseries. The trick to weeding is a quick plant ident to establish what's a weed and what's not. But the technical definition of a weed is a plant in the wrong place. So anything's a weed. A little fun fact for the day for you, Sam. And then just the establishing good healthy plants as well. So we're checking out for the 4Ds, dead, diseased, damaged and deformed parts of the plant, and cut those out to help promote new healthy growth. So we've got the grass here, growing within the plant.
Yeah.
What would you do?
I'd evict the grass.
Evict the grass, good work.
Chuck the daisy shenanigan back in.
Tease her out, come on baby. There, good.
It's worthy of a pay rise if I've ever seen one.
Thanks, Sam. That's very kind of you. I don't think Jay would agree, but you never know.
I've been off for plenty of time now, so I've had about 4 months to come up with a quote. It is, you can't control the hand you're dealt with. You can... Oh, it's not that. You can't control the hand you're dealt with, but you can control how you play it. I think that's quite inspirational, I suppose you could say. Thought that was a good one to come back on.
Good morning. It is day 2 of breakdown. Making good progress. I'm acutely aware of how unkept and unruly I look at the moment. I try and keep myself a little bit smarter than this normally, but yeah, Chelsea has made it impossible to get any sort of haircut, and to be honest, at 4:30 in the morning, the last thing I want to do is any sort of grooming. But I do have a haircut booked in after Chelsea, so looking forward to that. But what have we achieved? Well, breakdown is something that everybody seems incredibly interested in, and all for the right reasons. There's obviously a huge amount of material here, and with increasing pressures from pretty much every industry, every country, every part of the world to be a bit more sustainable, Chelsea has become under a huge amount of pressure to comply with all of that. Now, the main show gardens, both on Main Avenue and Hospital Way, as part of their plan, have to have a relocation plan. It has to go somewhere. This build doesn't, and the trade stands don't. So if they're sponsored, they're returned to the sponsors. If they are bought, they are owned by the company that bought them. Now, I'm not saying that they then throw them away. What they normally do is sell them to their clients, take them to their offices, their workshops, etc., etc. What we have here, so I'll talk you through what's being lifted. The stone that is all coming up is going back to Miles Stone. So our incredible stone supplier who sponsored all of the stonework, we're pulling everything down, putting it in bulk bags, and we're taking it back to their yard. Now, we use some lime mortar, so no cement on some of this, which means that when it gets to their yard, it's going to be unbagged, pressure washed and cleaned, and then re-palleted, packaged for sale. So that means that you can, through Miles Stone, actually go and buy a lot of the stone that we used at Chelsea. So if you want some of the Chelsea monument stone in your own garden, act pretty quick, I'm sure it'll go fast. The advantage of it, of course, is that it's all been really beautifully cropped and dressed by Paul, the incredible stonemason we had here, so you know how good it looks installed. The decking that we have lifted, so we've just stopped with the decking because the square meterage that we have lifted so far, so the decking, the frame, all of the ancillaries, that is going to a primary school in London. So it's going to London Fields Primary School, and that's lovely. So what we're actually building for them is in the middle of the playground is a big decked sort of walkway area. The oak pergola is also going in. It won't have the walls and the furniture, etc. It will just be the pergola with the roof and the freestanding pergola. And then also all of these raised planters, I think bar 2, are also going to the school. So that's the relocation plan. So taking the planters, a lot of the decking, the pergola, and then all of the planting to fill those planters and some small trees. The reason they're going to the school is UBS, the sponsor of this stand, have support that school. They support a few schools. London Fields is one of them, so they therefore get to benefit from the UBS technically bought and paid for materials. So that's fantastic. The big water feature is going back to Lux Unique. They are the supplier that built it, so they're taking it back. It was just loaned for the show. The remainder of the decking, 50 square meters of it, is going to one of the nurseries that supplied all this amazing planting to use it then at their nursery. That's what we're currently working on and working under. We've got Will running around on the event. We've got the company that supplied all of the trees who, yeah, they've been, no, the trees have been amazing. A little bit sort of slow getting things in and out, which has caused some problems, but they are here now. They've got 3 Arctics here today that are all going to be loaded up. Most of their stuff is now out and stockpiled next to where the trucks are. They've obviously got this central bit, but they are waiting for us to take up the last of the decking and the retaining wall in the middle to get to these trees. Because once we've got that access, obviously these huge trees scroll up, there you go, all the way up there. They all, and you've lost me. No, wrong way, come back. Come back, keep coming, keep coming, keep coming, there we go. All of those trees also need to come out. We need to get this place looking exactly how it's looking. And we're seeing the first signs on this side now, I'll flip you around, of the monument. So you can see these old granite curbs starting to reappear. But yeah, you can see the granite curbs, and then you can see how much the decking that we've had to raise. So that's protected all of this. Most of the stonework is out. We've got a few more bigger boulders that we can't lift by hand. But now that we have cleared that space, it means that we can get the Avant in, the telehandler, which Will is on, and I've decided we're going to buy one. We absolutely have to buy one. The Bobcat wasn't the right sort of bit of equipment for us, but those things are just, yeah, I mean, resisted for a while. But if we're going to make show builds part of our regular calendar here at Hardwood, then I think they are pretty essential. So yeah, there you go. That was me justifying an exciting purchase. But it's all going well. There's a lot of rubbish, a lot of clearing up to do. As you can see around me, the main pavilion is pretty empty now. It's really been cleared out. And by the end of today, we should be the only ones in here, which is great, because it means we'll just have space to spill and stack everything. As you can see over there, where I showed you the stone, that's where we're putting everything to sort of stockpile it, and we're putting it into piles for what needs to go on what truck. So Luke, who is our plant hire man and our plant operator, he's delivered all the diggers and dumpers. He's got his tractor and trailer here, so we're putting all the stone onto his trailer. He's going to take that back to his yard tomorrow. Then he's going to come back with a bin so he can do a muck away load out of here. Well, actually out of the David Harbour stand. So yeah, he's been super useful as well. He's cracking on with the tools, which is amazing. Digger drivers are notorious for not wanting to do anything that involves getting out of their cab, which is, I guess there's an argument for it being fair enough, but he's really cracked on and been part of the team. So if you do watch this, thank you, Luke. Yeah, I mean, touching on team once again, I know I've said it before, but the team have been amazing. Max, the designer, is just completely stuck in, which is fantastic. We've got Lev and Harry here from Hardwood today. They've been amazing. Darren and Will from Radial and Hardwood Landscapes have been amazing. Luke Smith on the machines. It's a really good team. Yesterday, my wife was up here for the whole day and she really got stuck in. I think everyone's missing her a bit today. She's great on the tools, so if she decides to leave her career in law and get her hands dirty, then she can. I think she is getting her nails done today though, so sorry, but I'll of course make sure I pay for that. But yeah, it's all going pretty well. We're hoping to be pretty much cracked on this one today. Tomorrow we're going to smash out David Harbour and that stand. But this is a reminder that yes, there are a few of the Hardwood team here. We've still, behind the scenes, got a whole business running. So we've got currently 2 live sites. They're both in Guildford. We've got all of our maintenance and soft landscaping planting sites running as well. So this is the week that we're going to reintroduce, well, actually, I think in the order of the vlogs being filmed, last week was a filling episode where we showed you some of the Hardwood teams, but this is the first week where we're going to properly reintroduce you to some of the team back on the ground, which I'm looking forward to. I feel a little bit out of touch with what's going on in the real world, but over in the real world where we build gardens for real people, let's go and see how the Hardwood Landscapes team are getting on.
Pulled off Chelsea, but Chelsea's over, which is nice to be back on home turf. Chelsea was fun. I was only up there for a week in the end, so I sort of joined the guys in the last week of Chelsea. So it was kind of like straight into the fire. It was no sort of like slow run. I don't think it's ever a slow ramp up for Chelsea, but it was yeah, it was really good to be part of it. It was nice to sort of like work with some other contractors and be around sort of like all the hype and see other people's stands going up and all these beautiful gardens being built. So yeah, lovely being part of that. But it is quite nice to just sort of be back on home soil, ticking over our nice projects, you know, tea served by the clients, biscuits served by the clients, and just, yeah, everything just a little bit kind of like slower and less sort of rushy, and sort of, I guess you can sort of take your time a little bit more on obviously what we're doing as our main job, rather than sort of just trying to throw together these gardens in a couple of weeks at Chelsea. So we're back on our site in Guildford. We've been here for about a week now. We've got a lot of the limestone paving down now, wrapping around the house and the back door and the extension. We've also got the limestone cladding pitches from All Green that have gone on the wall, which is our raised planter, and that will basically have a row of bleached trees and some lovely planting, which is all being done by Jay. Yeah, it's been a good couple of days with me and Jack on site. It's not really that straightforward, as the client wants a curve going into a straight, which isn't always necessarily the easiest thing to make look good. Obviously, if you're working on a curve, you can find your center point of that circle in the radius, and you can sort of just like make that curve lovely. But we're trying to make it, because he wants the straight edge, trying to make that look nice and not too sort of like cut off on one edge is kind of, I don't know, it's a bit tricky sort of thing. So we've shelved that till tomorrow. Kind of want to have the curves. Can't work it out then. It was a bit too much to work out today. But yeah, tomorrow, like I said, once we finish the paving, we are looking to sort of close off this kind of bit of paving around the house, cut the curve in, get our edging sets in, and we're sort of done with our main bulk of sort of hard landscaping around the back, and then we're going to have a bit of a sort of tidy up, clear out, a bit of a grade of the soil with a digger, so we can get a nice, decent sort of thick layer of lovely topsoil. But yeah, it sort of is what it is really, doing what we do best.
Good morning. It is Tuesday, I think. I think it's Tuesday, and no, it is Tuesday because it's going to be pretty much the last day of breakdown. I have a feeling that we're going to be knocking around site tomorrow as well, just getting the last few little things wrapped up, but we are pretty much there, and that feels fantastic. I'm exhausted. I'm not the only one. Everyone is exhausted. A little bit of a slower start for me today, because the unfortunate reality of a lot of this is I still have businesses to run. Chelsea is so good at putting you into this little hyper-focused bubble that just requires all of your attention, all of your energy, all of your resource, and then suddenly, just like that, it's month end again at the end of the week. I don't know how it's happened, but yeah, I had an early morning start of just flicking through. I've got an amazing office manager, of course, but just flicking through everything, making sure the right sort of invoices are out, that the Chelsea sponsors are being invoiced. There needs to be a big reconciliation, especially around our monument builds, because we've spent a huge amount of money delivering that scheme, a huge amount of money. So the only thing that we can do is fairly itemize and break down every single transaction that has come out of our account to make that happen, itemise it all, pass it on to the sponsor, and then everything crossed. They are sympathetic to us, this little company, which of course is a very little company when you compare it to the size and the volume of the sponsor. Not only have they sponsored our monument build, but this weekend they actually sponsored the Monaco Grand Prix as well. So yeah, hopefully they don't mind covering our little deficit to make sure that we finish this, not necessarily in the green, but just flat. Anyway, a little bit waffly, but what I obviously need to make sure is everyone gets paid at the end of the month. Our HMRC liabilities get paid, our suppliers get paid, and of course, probably most importantly this month is that all of our subcontractors are paid. We've got such and have had such an incredible team of amazing people around us on this Chelsea build. So we need to make sure that they are walking away with something. Chelsea finances are insane, and one thing that we want to make sure that we're doing in the future is paying everybody a little bit more, you know, huge thanks and recognition. And I find it hard to believe, but you know, a lot of the Hardwood guys are there on normal time. They're doing double days. We weren't doing builds this year that were flush with budgets, etc., but that's all part of it. So I'm sure you can figure out what's going on in my head. On top of all of that, over the last couple of days, I have built a website, incredibly rudimentary for grab. First one I've ever done, and found it very difficult. I'm not very techie, but anyway, that should be live, and the link is here. Go and have a look. I've also built us a Google page, so here is the link to the Google page. Find us on Google, and if you could leave us a 5-star review, that would be incredible. I'm now getting into the world of just very basic SEO for that brand, trying to get us up a little bit amongst the other local companies so that if people require our services, they find us nice and easily. I am recruiting for a bookkeeper. I've got adverts out for drivers. I am doing a bit of yard planning. I'm speaking to a couple of machinery suppliers about a machine to run that yard for us. When I say a machine, I mean essentially a telehandler. We've looked at a few different options, but I think the equivalent of a JCB 6-meter telehandler is the route we are going to go. So trying to get that in place. Also in the process of hiring again for Hardwood. We need to grow the team, just in a labourer capacity to support the teams a little bit. We are constantly running at 3 projects simultaneously at the moment, which is amazing, but means that really we probably need another 3 labourers, 1 on each site, just to take a bit of pressure off everybody. So that's what's going on in the background, which even just sort of reeling it off to the camera is pretty insane, to be honest. Insane for someone pretty delirious to be trying to pull these strings and make it all happen. But hey, welcome to the vlog, welcome to the real world. If you found us through Chelsea Flower Show, which I know a lot of people have done, the views have been incredible, the engagement's been incredible, the comments have been incredible, thank you everybody. But this is a vlog that shows the real life that is behind the scenes of the company that made all of that happen. So everything I'm talking about is the behind the scenes. We are very proud to do and deliver the projects that we deliver, but we are a small company who employ incredible people, and it's my job to try and make it all happen.
We're staying in Guildford for this next one. We're going to go and see Duncan and his team. Now, these guys stayed on this project throughout Chelsea. It ran whilst we were up at the show. So let's go and have a catch up with progress and see how much they achieved while everybody else was at Chelsea Flower Show.
Yeah, well, since you were last here, we dug the old fencing out and the walling, put a new concrete footing in. We've installed the retaining wall up through here with a slope on this side to go with the slope of the fencing. Got the concrete posts in, which were integrated into the wall. We've still got to put the feather edge on, the gravel boards and the capping post. All the drainage is in. We've also put some ducting in with the electric cables. A pipe ready there for the irrigation, ready for when that goes in. We've got a power cable up here for when they want to install their garden office at some stage. And you've just seen me putting in the drainage down there, and that's as far as we've got so far. I've got to put a new hopper head on here because at the moment there's nothing there. So we've got to put that hopper head on here at finished height with this downpipe connecting into it. That's in the way there. That's in the way, so I'm gonna have to cut that there. Yeah, I'm happy with that, it's good. Yeah, so trim that downpipe off. Put that on. Bob's your uncle. Might have to get Lev. Lev, can I borrow your skinny arms? Can you put your arm down in there and get the bit of pipe that's just fallen in there? It's just round the corner, I can feel it, I just can't quite get my fingers on it. That's it. Cheers, mate. And you always leave a bit of a gap there for leaves and any debris, because if you put it directly on top of this, all the debris and leaves will gather up and you'll end up with a blockage and you have to take all this lot off to get it off. So a bit of a gap there so the water can get in and you can get in there to clean it out.
I never knew that, because trying to deal with that would be really draining.
Haven't shown you any of the David Harbour breakdown yet, but it's pretty much broken down. So we haven't spent any time or resource on this one, really. It's quite a simple breakdown and we have been flat out with some pretty horrible deadlines in there, but this also has to be cleared today. Chelsea logistics again are sort of causing havoc. The vehicle booking system, it hasn't been great. We've had an Arctic waiting in a holding area since 9 AM and it is now nearly 3 PM. He's still there, still hasn't come in, and what he is doing is collecting all of the hedging, all the hedging that's around me. So that's all going back to David Harbour. We've spoken about relocation and where everything goes. That's actually going into the Harbour's garden and workshop. So I'm sure they'll be grateful to get into the ground. Luke with his digger is using a selector grab to pick out all the root balls, put them back in their pots and get everything nice and neat. What we are doing after that is putting them on pallets, and then those will then go into the Arctic when it's finally let on site. We're also waiting for Majestic to come and pick up these amazing silver birches. So if you remember from a couple of episodes ago when you saw those going into the ground, we put them in the ground with slings under the root balls. So those slings are now visible again. I'll turn you around and show you. And that means, there you go. So the forks can just go straight into that and lift the root balls back up. So once those are out, once the hedging's out, we're just having a quick scoot around now, picking up all the lights units out, making sure that they can go back to our amazing sponsors. So thank you again, Landscape Plus and Inlights. And then, yeah, metal edging into the skip, because you can't reuse that. It will be recycled, don't worry, but into the skip because it's all bent and no good for us to reuse personally. And then Luke is just going to clear the site. So pull all of the Type 1 and all of the gravel into a grab pile at the front. Berry Hill are coming to pick that up in the morning, and all of that Type 1 and gravel mixed together is a little bit contaminated, but it's going back to their yard to actually be used at their yard. So filling in some holes, doing a bit of regrading. So it's great to see it all just being reused. And then this will be left as just a nice flat brown square ready for whatever next year brings. Pretty surreal, to be honest. 3 days to break this down, which, yeah, I'm amazed at. I mean, I know it takes less time to smash something down than it does build it up, but the smashing down was very careful. Obviously, everything's being relocated, so it wasn't just smashing. I mean, they've taken a huge amount out. Probably doesn't look that big behind me, that impressive, but the pile of soil that we pulled out of here, which obviously we had to bring in, was huge. So a big effort, and yeah, it's been amazing. Still got Will, Darren, Harry and Luke here with me. They have been incredible for the whole of Breakdown, so thank you guys. I really, genuinely really appreciate it. It was Will's birthday today, so spending his birthday here as well, which was pretty amazing, I think he had a good day. He's a little bit grumpy this morning, but he seems to have cheered up. But yeah, looks amazing. The monument, when it's clean, just looks incredible. You actually really understand how sort of powerful a thing it is now. I mean, it looks so insignificant as part of the build, but I mean, you can't even get it all in the frame. Seeing it exposed like this in this open space, in such a flat space, it's amazing how big it really is. Yeah. Super grateful to Berry Hill. They again have been just lifesavers with haulage. We had a couple of trucks booked in with them, but we had to make some fairly last minute changes, which meant they had to react and mess around with their schedules. But John, I know you're watching. Thank you so much, really appreciate it. I think all of this just shows actually how important it is to have been doing the work that I've been doing on sort of building a brand. Today, actually, about half an hour ago, we hit 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, so that's pretty amazing. The first video in this series that we put up, over 10,000 people have watched that whole hour-long episode. So over 10,000 watched it all the way through, and that is, for me, just completely mind-blowing. I mean, look at this huge space. Imagine 10,000 people in it just watching what we're doing and invested in what it takes to make this happen. You know, I'm just incredibly grateful. You can tell I'm probably quite tired, but yeah, incredibly grateful. But you know, it's also attracted the help of people like John and Will and Darren and Luke, etc. I think without them, it would have been a real stretch. And also without them, and without doing the brand thing, I think there's a real sort of almost a bit of a lack of credibility. It's important to give people the opportunity to get to know you, and these YouTube vlogs have proved a really powerful way of doing so. You know, as I've always said, I'm transparent and I'm authentic, and then it means if you like me on the vlogs, there's probably a good chance you'll like me in real life. So yeah, but what a day.
And that's it. Chelsea Flower Show 2025 for us is over. We are clear of the show, which feels pretty good. It has been full on and a real test for everybody. I know I've thanked everyone plenty of times, but I'll take every opportunity to do so. Thank you so much to everybody who was involved in making it happen. It really was incredible. We still have the relocation to go, so that hasn't started yet. We'll update you with progress on it and the reasons it hasn't started yet in a vlog, which will be coming shortly, so stay tuned for that, and we can't wait to show you the final stage and where those gardens end up and what their forever home is. Thanks for watching. Of course, as always, please make sure you have subscribed if you haven't, drop a like under the video, leave us a comment, any questions you'd like us to address in the next vlog, we would love to do that for you, and we'll see you next Sunday.